Hello everyone, welcome back. This is going to be part 17 of my iPad Go 2 breakdown series. Thanks again for all of the views and everything. I can't find my stuff, so please go and check my channel out to see all my past breakdowns. I think it's important to go and take a look at them. For this video, I am specifically going to look at confirmations of our timeline, and I think that everything that's happening in the world is right in line with iPad Go 2's timeline of events. And I want to cover specifically some major ones such as the Japan earthquake, the winter that's recently coming to Texas, and I think what's to expect next within the next month, okay, before the end of February 10th, which is the transition into the next Chinese New Year. So I've established this kind of as the timeline where each one of the heads of the classroom is a different Chinese New Year, and Lily representing the year of the rabbit 2023 and into 2024. This is the timeline I'm going to be covering. For me, the whole events start as soon as Lily drops the apple. I think that this is kind of the go time, okay? And so let's look at that. When she drops the apple, I think that this is go time for the events of iPad Go 2, and I think that this represents September 4th of 2023, okay? Why? Reason is Heliofont deletes all their videos on September 4th, 5th, or 6th, I forget which exact day, okay? And when she drops this apple, we see it roll across and we see the distinctive red spot, okay, on it. So to me, this has to be Jupiter. And the retrograde motion of Jupiter happens to start exactly on September 4th of 2023 and ends on exactly December 31st of 2023. So for me, it gives us a timeline to expect as she drops the apple, September 4th. As soon as it hits Obama's shoe and rolls back, that is December 31st. Okay? So I put this little timeline together. I hope this is kind of clear enough. But September 4th, okay, of 2023, I believe she drops the apple. Okay, retrograde motion starts. Heliofont deletes all their videos. Rosh Hashanah is a Jewish celebration, okay, that happened on September 15th of 2023. This was covered by, I believe it's J.K. Bugout and others, okay, about how these apples are dipped in honey on this specific Hebrew celebration, and it lined up exactly on September 15th. Okay, so we see the apple, we see the honey around Lily, okay, so targeting September 15th. When she drops the apple, we see the ring around Lily, okay, as the apple leaves, the apple representing the moon, okay, creating the eclipse. So as the apple leaves, it's breaking the eclipse, okay, of October 14th. The apple then rolls across the floor, and then we see Obama's shoe covering this coin. The first minting of the king on coins was done in Canada, where I live, on November 14th. Okay, so confirmation of that time frame. And then as the apple hits the shoe, okay, it ends our December 31st retrograde motion, and then the apple breaks open and this lotus flower is bloomed, which to me is the next day or right after we see this lotus, and I believe that this represents the earthquake, the breaking of the earth, the growing of the lotus flower, okay? So lotus blooms in Japan earthquake of January 1st. So I think, like I said, the lotus would have to bloom after December 31st, which is after the retrograde motion finishes. And pink lotuses are found in Japan. They emerge, you know, the lotus flower grows through murky water, then emerges and appears to float on the surface. Okay, so after a tsunami, the murky waters covering, would this then signify, you know, earthquake, tsunami that's happened in Japan? Okay, so I think that this is kind of the confirmation at the end of the classroom. Then we jump into 2024, okay? The first thing we see as we leave the classroom is we see this distinctive like house on fire, and then it disappears, okay? We have this strange story of this house explosion in Detroit where 4 were dead, 2 were hurt. And if you look at the pictures of this house, guys, it's gone. It disappears. So on fire, house explosion, disappears. So I think that this is confirmation, okay, of our January 2nd. Okay, so it's in timeline, right? We had our January 1st, which is the Japan earthquake. Then we see the house, January 2nd confirmation. Then January 11th, as we pan out, we see the Psalm 23, which everyone's covered, has the word Donald right in it. And it just so happens that Trump speaks in court, okay, in his closing arguments on January 11th. And this was kind of really put into the news because he did this barrage, okay, of a 6-minute, attack on the judge sort of thing. So it's kind of a significant story, okay, that happened on January 11th. And now we see the flagpole with the American flag ripped off with the 1 star, Lone Star State, okay, Texas. And now we see the wind blowing and the snow in the snow buildup, the snow whipping, all this. So is winter finally coming to Texas? And now we're having this Arctic blast, right? We've had no winter in the US or even here in Canada. I live in, this area here, just in kind of Toronto area. We've had no winter, and it seems like this Arctic blast is the first bringing of winter for 2023, 2024. So I think it's going to line up perfectly with this, which is right now, right? January 14th, I believe. So January 14th, winter comes. So what's next in this scene? Well, the next thing we see is these buildings collapse, and then this man leaping from this strange structure here. Then we pan out through the channel, and then we see the human spirit character, which, as I've confirmed, is our cutscene into the next Chinese New Year, and the Chinese New Year ends on February 10th. So these 2 events, this building collapse and this man jumping off, has to happen between now and February 10th. So less than a month for this to happen. What do I think is it? What do I think is going to happen? I think I've changed my mind here in terms of the location. Due to the fact that this character on this particular stiletto structure, I've looked at for hours, years, okay? It's so strange that this is here. Now, I started looking for stiletto-type buildings across the world, and of course, New York comes down with this Pier 54. It's called the Little Island, okay? And it just so happens it's structured with these poles that kind of extend into the water. It's got these strange sort of stiletto type structure. So what I'm trying to get at here, this scene that he's trying to picture in the background is, I believe, a pier, right? It's a bunch of piers. We have a cruise ship here. Okay, we've got this extension of the classroom kind of extending off of the mainland, so another pier. So I think that this is happening in New York. Perfectly timed with iPet Goat 2, the second 9-11, okay? So does all of iPet Goat 2 kick off with another 911 in New York? And this man leaping is, this event would happen somewhere in New York where it's visible by Pier 88 and Pier 54 is the Stiletto building, and cruise ships just so happen to dock at Pier 88 and Pier 90. Okay? We've all heard the connections with the 88 number. So this collapsing of the building seems to be just behind the cruise ships. So I would be expecting it to be upward, Pier 99, Pier somewhere up there. So my prediction, there will be another building collapse, which I think is going to be an FF. Okay, it's not, it will be some sort of, I think, terror thing to try and scare everybody. This is going to be the kickoff of iPet Go 2 and all these crazy wild events, and nowhere better than right here in New York. This is right here, okay, this picture of Google Maps. So piers would be up here that I'm talking about. And the reason why this is even more confirmation is as we leave 2023, we leave this scene, we go through this channel, and I think this channel could be this channel between Jersey City and New York. More confirmation of this is that in 2024, we see the Statue of Liberty scene, and this channel leads directly to the Statue of Liberty. Okay? I think iPet Go 2 is trying to tell us something here about this coming attack. Because after this, we have the cutscene, which I said is the end of the Chinese New Year, the shift into the Year of the Dragon on February 10th. So this event has to happen between now and February 10th. I'm going to probably leave that video here. I will cover in my next one, 2024, a more detailed analysis, as the first scene of 2024 here is the floating islands of Hawaii, right? Okay, this ship that Osama's on seems to be pushing this island of Hawaii around, which, as I've covered in my previous one, looks like exactly the island of the main island here, okay? And the eclipse shown is April 8th. So this scene, this event, would have to happen before April 8th of 2024. So bear with me. Actually, you know what? Let's continue on. Let's just finish this part 20 in 2024. Then we have the oil scene. I have a new find here. I believe that this is the sturgeon moon, as we see the fish here. So again, expect this to happen before, I think the sturgeon moon is August, okay? So some big oil event before August. And I'm going to leave it there, as I will cover 2024 more in more depth. I really wanted to cover this because I think that this event here, this building collapse, has to happen in the next month. And I want to get this out before that happens. So thanks so much, and until next time.